Welcome to Muscle Maintenance with InShape Fitness. I'm Coach Kim. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's 15-minute session is called Shine When You Rise. And that is because it is the one thing I do every single day. I try to get clients in New York City that we work with at InShape Fitness to do every single day. It's the only silver bullet, if there is one. And it takes a long time to travel and deliver some results, but getting up and ambling over to a spot in your living room floor for a 15-minute stimulating routine will boost your metabolism, will provide you with that juiced up energy that you need to start your day off really well. So we're going to start with the postural systems check, and that means that you grab a spot on your floor. Hopefully you don't have shoes on your feet. You don't need shoes for this exercise routine. And you want to stand up really tall, almost like a marionette has been stood up on its feet. You want to pretend that someone is pulling the top of your head kind of up a little bit just to elongate your spine, sort of self-elongate. And then your arms drop beside your body. Now the palms turn a little bit forward and out so that the thumbs kind of extend out to the sides a bit, as opposed to the sides of your, or the palms, the inside of your hands cupping against the sides of your legs, which has become the norm, but that's mostly because we collapse our chest and pull on the upper part of the back. By turning your hands out a little bit, you force that open chest, which helps build some efficiencies in terms of your respiration, and then it also opens up your chest. It gets those ears and your shoulders lined up, which alleviates some of the pressure on the upper part of your back. Then you zip up your tummy muscles, tuck in your tailbone, and then make sure that you're pressing into the floor with all four corners of your feet and trying to think about the right-left balance between two legs, trying to make sure that you don't press into the floor with one leg more than the other. Okay, now I want you to go heel to toe with your feet, or almost heel to toe with your feet, depending on how well balanced your body is. And then extend your arms out to the sides, palms facing down. So you've got right angles with your shoulders, your arms fully extended. Open up those fingers. A little phalange fitness. You want to spread those fingers out wide. And you're gazing straight ahead for now, but what I want you to do is turn your head to the right and then to the left. Now, this discombobulates the equilibrium of your inner ear, and that forces you to isometrically contract the little muscles that reside in the lower part of your leg and in your feet, such that you are building, you're actually pumping oxygenated blood into those tissues and activating your metabolism through that process. Plus, of course, you're working your balance, sort of the vestibular system a little bit as well. So we're going to do 10 jumping jacks, and then we're going to switch the feet and do the other side. So with me, go ahead and get started with those jumping jacks, which are tried and true exercises that I really do love. You just want to do the jumping jacks well, so you jump up with your feet jumping out with your toes staying forward. Don't turn your toes out. And then your arms extend above your head and you press your palms together, or at least touch your fingertips together. And you've got a slight bend in the elbow, but you want to keep on jumping up, back down. Yes, you can do these in your bare feet. If you don't want to do these in your bare feet, that's fine as well. You can jump out one leg and then the other in order to lower that impact level. But plyometrics are safe when you have healthy feet, so you have to talk to your doctor when you're starting any exercise program, but I do them all the time in my bare feet, and I have lots of exercising clients that exercise in their homes and they don't wear their shoes when they jump around a little bit. Light jumping is okay. Now, this is called the lighthouse move, by the way, where you go back to that heel to toe position with your feet, arms out to the sides, and then make sure that the foot that was in the front before is now in the rear, and you turn your head again all the way to the right and all the way to the left. Excellent. So you might feel that you can't extend your neck, your head all the way to the right so that you can gaze down the length of your arm in one direction or the other, or maybe both, but just make a mental note of that, and then let's move on. Now what I want you to do is extend your arms up above your head, make a big giant X with your body, This elevates your heart rate just a little bit as well. It's also called a standing crunch, a standing bicycle crunch, in fact, where you bring the left elbow down and across the body as you bring the right knee up and across the body, meeting the left elbow, and then return to your starting position, and then alternate with the right elbow and the left knee. For 30 seconds, your time starts now. This is a standing bicycle crunch. Take a breath with every single half repetition, every single move. So you exhale as you squeeze, you inhale as you return to start, stretch back out. Exhale as you squeeze and squeeze those tummy muscles, and then exhale as you stretch back out. You've got 10 more seconds to go. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1. Excellent. You're doing great. Okay, now what I want you to do is separate your feet into a position about shoulder width apart. We're going to perform a couple of standard squats, which we're then going to kind of evolve into a little circuit that will boost your heart rate, continue to load the spine, and hopefully do a little bit of work in terms of your core and your butt and your legs. So with squats, you sit down and back into an imaginary chair. Now you want to sit back enough such that your knees don't go past the tips of your toes, and you don't want to go deeper unless you're really advanced. You don't want to go deeper than your hip level, or rather your knee level. You don't want your hips to go farther down than your knees are. And then as you lift up, you squeeze those glutes and press your heels into the floor. So these are standard squats. You probably do them all the time. You just want to make sure that you're doing them correctly, because you also want to make sure that you have a full respiration cycle with each of the squats. You inhale on your way down, you exhale as you lift back up. Full breath cycle. Every rep gets one, and it should, because you exhale as you lift up on that exertion, and the exertion on the way up is where you really make the most difference in terms of your output. You have to squeeze your glutes and you press your heels into the floor as you lift up, and you're lifting up against gravity, right? Pushing up against that pressure. And that is why your metabolic boost can be much more efficient when you are focused on it. Once momentum builds, if you're just going up and down sort of passively, that laissez-faire squat, I'm sure you've seen as well. You've got 5 more seconds, by the way. Then we're going to move on to the next move. You'll notice a lot of people build some momentum when they're doing their squats, and that means that the body itself is not doing quite as much work. Okay, now let's do some forward kicks. So bring your hands to your hips, or if you want to get crazy, you can bring your arms into that defensive kickboxing position where your hands kind of block your face, and you want to stand up really tall, pull in on your belly, make sure that belly button is pulled in towards your spine, then lift up the left knee and make sure your left foot is flexed. When you lift up the left knee, you kick out the lower leg, so that if you were to strike as a kickboxer, you would strike with your heel, and then alternate with the right leg. 30 seconds. This is the last move. What we're going to do afterwards is we're going to combine the squat with the forward kicks, and we might have enough time to add a couple of lunges in with the squat and the forward kicks. So let's try to do that combination move. It's starting now, where you squat down. We did a few 30 seconds worth of forward kicks. Now you sit into a squat. As you come up out of the squat, you lift up one knee and kick out the foot, and then go back into your squat, and then you lift up one knee and kick out the foot of the other leg when you come up again. All right, so we've got 10 minutes. We're going down to the floor for the last 5 minutes. So if you're also able to add the lunge in, a reverse lunge, this is a great trio that I do all the time with clients. You do a squat into the forward kick. That forward kick then becomes a reverse lunge with the same leg. That trio I love because it builds flexibility through your hip. It forces the glute to work. It forces your butt to work. It keeps your core engaged, elevates your heart rate. So many great things going on. The most amount of efficiency that you can add to the 15-minute morning routine, the better off you're going to feel. And of course, it's just 15 minutes. even if you get up for 15 minutes and lie on your floor and do one plank, which is the next move we're doing actually. And let's jump down to the floor now because the time is sort of slipping away here. Go ahead and plop into the floor onto your elbows and walk your feet out. Let's hold a plank for 30 seconds. Your time starts now. 15 minutes of any type, as long as you do a little bit of everything. I tend to shift things around a little bit depending on how I'm feeling. On some days I do a lot of push-ups. On other days I do a lot of yoga where I do a lot of downward dogs and upward dogs and just general sort of stretching that I like to do. There is a lot of focused work in terms of my own routine for my own body on my hips and my glutes on the floor, like in hip bridge and clamshells, those types of things that I do because I'm a runner. I'm a trainer for the New York Roadrunners Club, and I need to be able to move, to run. So for my own health and fitness, I do those types of exercises. So your plank is over. Now you sit in child's pose and stretch that back out a little bit. Very, very good. Take a big, deep breath in child's pose. As you exhale on the next breath cycle, lift your body up into downward facing dog. That butt is high up in the air now. You're stretching out the back of the leg, the calves, the back of your leg. Really, really tight and weakened parts of your body because of sedentary lifestyles. So the more that you can stretch them out, the better off you are. All right, now flatten your butt out. And if you need to drop to your knees, I want you to do 10 push-ups where you inhale on your way down as your elbows bend. And then you push back up as you exhale. You need big breaths, maximum capacity gas exchanges here. So you inhale deeply through your nose and then push all that carbon dioxide out of your mouth as you push your body back up. Think of yourself as a machine in terms of this particular move. Nobody likes doing push-ups for fun, but they are so valuable because they force you to move in plank. And when you're forced to move in plank, you have the benefits that you're reaping from the plank itself, plus all of that added work in terms of elevating your heart rate because you're working your body against gravity and because you are exercising the shoulders and the back and your arms. All right, now drop back down to child's pose. Let's rest one more time. I'm going to have you turn over into the hip bridge position to finish off with a couple of hip bridges and then a couple of roll-ups before I send you on your way. So we've done really simple stuff today, right? We did the lighthouse for balance at the very beginning, the heel to toe position of your feet, and then we did that trio of squats, forward kicks, and reverse lunges. We did a plank. We did some flexibility work through downward facing dog. And then we did some push-ups. Now we're doing our hip bridges. So you're with the back on the floor, arms beside your body, palms face down. You lift your hips up into the air. And I, just like with so many other moves, the mistakes that I view with people that I'm typically not working out with, but if I do see other people in hip bridge, the things that will make a huge difference in terms of the quality of this execution is to make sure that your toes stay flat on the floor. If your toes lift up off the floor, then you're putting more pressure on your quadriceps and more pressure on your lower back by pressing into the floor, accentuating that floor press with your toes and even lifting your heels up. Sometimes I do that with clients. You force the back of the leg to engage. So your hip flexors are fully elongated because you're up in that bridge. And then you can do all kinds of exercises with the hip bridge move. You can just stay here. I know trainers that just put people here and have them hang out for upwards of 5 minutes, staying in hip bridge position and not moving. You can also do push-ups, or rather, crunches in this position. You can do dips, obviously. You can do single leg dips. You can do twists where you extend one arm out to the side and reach across the body to the other side. So many different great things. We're going to finish with a couple of roll-ups. I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts on roll-ups, which is a full sit-up, but your legs are elongated straight out. Your arms are lifted above your head. Now, these might seem really, really simple, and they are simple, but because of the control it exerts, you're able to end this 15 minutes worth of your own morning time, which is valuable time. And I recognize that if you're listening still, you're stressed about the next thing that you have to do. I am as well. In fact, I have to leave and go collect my 9-year-old daughter. So I understand that. And what is important about something that's simple like a roll-up is that you can take a really deep breath in as you're lying down in like kind of an active corpse. And then as you lift your body up slowly by pulling your belly button in towards your spine, contracting your tummy muscles, lifting your body up and through that sort of L-seat position where you fully elongate the torso, sitting up straight, keeping your shoulders back, then slowly reach towards your toes with your fingertips. You feel that stretch through your hamstrings one more time. And then you can very slowly, with complete control, one vertebra at a time, roll back to your lying down position. This is meditative. You get a chance to think through all of those anxiety kind of elements that you're thinking about right now. The next thing that's on your day, I'm sure, is really, really important. So I'm going to let you get to it. Come back again next week. Later in the week at the In Shape Fitness Show, we have a podcast routine that is going to incorporate one of the stories that I just wrote in my first attempt at a book. After all these years running In Shape Fitness, I've finally written a book. It's called Darwin on the Treadmill, and it is a story about, I'm going to be telling this weekend, or later this week on the In Shape Fitness Show, a story about Darwin's core exercise when he was on the Galapagos Islands. So check that out later, and I will see you again very soon. If you have any questions, please contact my team at bodybyInShape.com.